Hello, Queensland. This is Paul Connett. I have some disappointing news. I hope to be in Queensland in early April to talk to you in person at 3 presentations. Unfortunately, my trip has been curtailed because of worries on the virus, and I should be going back to the United States in a few days. So I thought I would make a videotape specifically for Queensland. In addition to that, my full presentation on the neurotoxicity of fluoride will also be available. We've pre-recorded the presentation I would have given in Queensland had I been there. So hopefully you can see that videotape as well. But first, I want to express my astonishment and my disgust at what I've read in the Queensland Political Reporter, March the 9th, 2020. Quote, "Doctors will challenge up to 50 Queensland councils to declare their support for fluoridation of drinking water ahead of this month's local government elections as the state battles the worst child tooth decay in the nation." Australian Medical Association Queensland President Dilip Dupilia will write to councils that do not have fluoride in their water supply, and Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk in a bid to force the public health issue onto the agenda. Quote, "This is a serious health problem and the solution, fluoride, is a no-brainer," Dr. Dupilia said. This statement is unconscionable, Dilip. Unconscionable and unprofessional. You, as a professional medical person, should be up to date in the medical literature. Up to date. And if you were, you would realize that the health issue was not children's tooth decay, but children's mental decay. It's what fluoride does to the infant and fetal brain, which is an issue today from a scientific point of view. And what you're doing here is reproducing 50 years worth of political propaganda, which is always and continues to deny that fluoride could possibly harm human beings at the level at which you fluoridate. But the game has changed, Dilip, and you should know it's changed. If you were reading the scientific literature, you would know on April the 17th, 2017, there was an article in the Environmental Health Perspectives, one of the leading environmental health journals in the world, about a 12-year, multi-million-dollar study funded by the National Institute of Health in the United States, which showed a strong correlation between the exposure of pregnant women to fluoride and lowered IQ in their offspring. And this is not based upon a geographical study where you're comparing 2 communities. It was based upon individual measurements in the mother and individual measurements in the offspring of that mother. 300 mother-offspring pairs. And the relationship was for an increase of 1 milligram per liter of fluoride in her urine, which is a measure of total exposure from any source. There was a lowering of up to 6 IQ points. And that range of 1 milligram per liter is essentially the range of the urine levels in the population of both the United States and Canada. Then you should have also known that this study was essentially replicated. And this one you should have known. Even if you don't read the Environmental Health Perspectives, even though it's the journal of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, an important research agency in the United States, you should have read the second one, which appeared in JAMA Pediatrics, the Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics. That happens to be the most important journal in pediatrics in the world. And in this study, they replicated the Bashesh study, except the IQ loss was in boys, not girls in this case, but there were other measurements of the mother's exposure which did relate also to girls. This study got major coverage. Surely, Dilip, you read that or heard about it. And if you did, why on earth are you continuing to promote fluoridation? And there have been 2 further bombshells. Again, you should have heard of this. Riddle in 2019 showed, listen to this, approximately 300% greater prevalence of ADHD symptoms in children, adolescents in fluoridated communities in Canada compared with non-fluoridated communities in Canada. And guess what, Dilip? They fluoridate at lower concentrations in Canada than you do here in Australia, in Queensland. And there's yet another study published this year, again from Canada, which showed that children who, when they were babies, were bottle-fed in fluoridated communities had a lowered IQ than children who were bottle-fed in non-fluoridated communities. So the only difference that we could see with these children is that one set of children, when they were babies, were exposed to fluoridated tap water, and the other set of children, when babies, were not exposed to fluoridated tap water. A difference of 9 IQ points. 9 IQ points. Now let me put that into perspective. From a population level, if you downshift the IQ of the whole population, and don't forget, fluoridation is designed to go to everybody. It's a thing you do to the whole population. So if you lower the IQ to the whole population by 5 IQ, not 9, but 5, you would halve the number of very bright children, the number of children who have an IQ above 130, which includes your geniuses, and you would increase by about 50% the number of children who are have an IQ of less than 70, who are officially declared mentally disadvantaged or handicapped, whatever the polite word is these days. That has serious economic consequences for a country like Australia, a province like Queensland, a state like Queensland. You must stop misleading the citizens of your state and the politicians of your state. It is not fair. Your position gives you enormous influence and enormous power compared to what citizens have. Just the citizens who do their homework, who do read the literature and have no reason to lie. You should be ashamed that, one, you're not on top of the literature. That, in a way, it can be excused, not being on top of the literature as a profession. Maybe that's excusable. What is not excusable is, in the context of not being informed, going out and blandly advocating a practice which could be doing harm. This is arrogance, Dilip. This is arrogance. And I define arrogance as ignorance backed up with overconfidence. So it's your overconfidence in this practice which is causing harm. And I know that the NHMRC and your health departments, etc., are all telling you that this is the best thing since sliced bread. But none of these agencies are doing their homework. So folks, I'm sorry I'm not going to be there in person, but you do have this message on video, and you have my PowerPoint presentation, about an hour, a presentation I gave in the public library in Perth just a few days ago. We've got that available for you, and maybe another one that I did in Bunbury last night. But one way or another, please keep track of Fluoride Free Australia. They're running 15-second ads on television in Western Australia. You should see if you can run those in Queensland. And secondly, the simplest thing, please become a member of Fluoride Free Australia. Write to them. There's a thing that you can sign up to get their newsletter. Citizens need to be informed. They need especially to be informed, especially with their politicians uninformed and their politicians being pressured and propagandized by bureaucrats who are equally ill-informed. Thanks for listening.